Hello students, welcome to our educational channel PAATHSHALA Pandit. I am Ayus Bhattacharya. In this channel, you will get all the academics related to maths and science. If you feel this video is really helpful, please like it, share it with your friends, and also do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have any query, please post it in the comment section. I will surely reply to it. Thank you very much. Hello students, today we will learn about acceleration. You must have heard about this term earlier too, but today we will learn its scientific significance. Acceleration, and also we will learn about its formula, of course. So what is acceleration? Let me give you an example. Suppose you are about to start a bike. It is parked and you are about to start it. So can you directly take the bike from 0 km per hour, currently its speed is 0 km per hour, directly to 60 km per hour? No, you cannot do that. First you have to take the bike, put accelerator, you have to press the accelerator, then it goes from 0 to 10, then to 20, then to 30, 40, 50, and finally till 60 kilometers per hour. Alright, so it took time. Okay, it didn't happen it just a moment, it took time. So the change in velocity divided by the time means how much time you took to take the bike from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour will be your acceleration. Okay, so let's write the proper formula. Acceleration is equals to change in velocity, change in velocity upon time taken, change in velocity upon time taken. So just as I explained, the velocity is being changed. Okay, it didn't happen in just a moment that from 0 it went to 60. Okay, now to understand it more clearly, I will write the same thing in a more illustrated manner. Acceleration, acceleration is equals to final velocity, change in velocity. It is better to write it like this: final velocity minus initial velocity. Final velocity minus initial velocity upon time taken. Okay, upon time taken. So just as I said, 60 kilometers per hour and this is 0 kilometers hour. Subtract that and divide it by the time taken. Suppose it took 5 minutes or 10 minutes upon your capability. So upon that the acceleration is calculated. Okay, now whenever we write it in science, we do not write such big statements. Okay, we write it in shortened forms. Now let's see what is the short form for this, and this is the actual scientific way to write this formula. Acceleration becomes a equals to final velocity becomes v. Final velocity becomes v. Anywhere in any science textbook you see the final velocity is represented by v minus what is initial velocity. You have to represent initial velocity as u. Okay, u for umbrella, you have to represent it by u, by time taken. Time taken is shown as t. Okay, it is shown as t. So this is the scientific formula. You see it in any textbook, it will be written just as it is shown here. So let us calculate the acceleration in my example. What was the final velocity? Final velocity, I am writing it in short, vel is equals to 60. Now for simplicity and also for your understanding, let us write it as 60 meter per second, because you see most of the time in exam you have to write it in SI units, not in kilometer per hour. Is kilometer per hour is an SI unit? No, it is not an SI unit. But meter per second is an SI unit. You know that because meters, second are SI units. Anywhere in the world it is accepted. So 60, we will write it like this. Initial velocity is equals to starting. What was the velocity at start? It was at rest. It was parked. So of course 0 meter per second. When it is not moving only, we will of course write it as 0. What is the time taken? Now let us consider time taken as 10 seconds. Okay, you took 10 seconds to run the bike from 0 to 60. It took 10 seconds. So let us calculate the acceleration. First substitute it. What is v? V is 60. What is u? U is 0. U is 0. What is t? T is 10. So acceleration A is equals to v minus u by t is equals to 60 minus u, 60 minus u by time 10, which is 60 by 10 is equals to 6 meter per second squared. Okay, remember the unit. For acceleration, the unit is meter per second squared. I will explain it later in this video, but first let us see a more important thing. Now I will teach you what is positive, negative and zero acceleration. Alright. Now let us see the types of acceleration. Okay. First let me divide this board into 4 parts. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Now consider 3 people. One is Ajay, one is Vijay, and the third one is Parajay. Okay. Ajay, Vijay and Parajay both are traveling on their bike. Alright. But their velocity, the change in their velocity is very much different. Let's see what is happening here. Okay, let me take the blue marker itself. So at this is time. I am writing it as t. Consider it as time. Okay. So Ajay's velocity at 0th minute, or not minute, consider it as second only. Currently take everything as in SI units. 0th second, Ajay's velocity is 0. Okay, it is 0 meter per second, and in the first second it become 10 meter per second. Then in second it become 20 meter per second. Third 30 meter per second, fourth second, 40 meter per second. Now let's see Vijay's change in velocity. Vijay's change in velocity, he was already driving at 40 meter per second. So at 0th minute, means he was driving at 40 meter per second, and suddenly we took the timer and started it. So it became 40 meter per second. It was seen at that time. It was 40 meter per second. At 1 second, the first second, it became 30 meter per second. Then at second second, it become 20 meter per second. Third second, 10 meter per second. Fourth second, yes, you guessed it right, it becomes 0 meter per second. Now let's say Parajay. Parajay, at 0th second, his velocity was seen to be 30 meter per second. At the first second, his velocity was again seen to be 30 meter per second. No change. Second second, 30 meter per second again. Then at third, 30 meter per second. Fourth, again 30 meter per second. He kept riding his bike at a cool-headed mind at a same velocity. Okay, so you understood this. All right, so now let's see the difference. I hope, or I know you have guessed it, many of you have guessed it, that what is the difference, but still let me explain it to you. Ajay at 0th second, his velocity was 0. When the time at when 1 second happened, then his velocity increased by 10 meter per second. His velocity increased. Okay, 0 become 10. Then again the time interval, see what is the time interval, 1 second and 2 second. What is the difference? 1 second only. So at the next 1 second, his velocity became 10 to 20. 10 to 20 means 10 meter per second increased. Then again you can see 10 meter per second increased, 10 meter per second increased. Okay, so whenever the velocity increases with time, we call it as we call it as positive acceleration. Okay, it is known as positive acceleration. Let me write it here, positive acceleration. All right, so Ajay is riding his bike with a positive acceleration. Let's see Vijay's graph or Vijay's velocity data. It was earlier at 40 meter per second. 1 second passed, became 30 meter per second, means his velocity decreases. 30 meter per second became 20 meter per second, again 10, again 0. So let me show it here. Acceleration is equals to 30. Final velocity is 30 minus the initial velocity is 40. The time taken is 1 minus 0. 1 minus 0, okay, is equal to, what is the answer? Minus 10. The answer is minus 10 meter per second squared. It is a minus. So because it is minus, first of all understand two things. How do you know it is a negative velocity? It is a negative velocity when, sorry, not a negative velocity, is a negative acceleration. Okay, negative acceleration happens when the velocity decreases with time. First thing understood. Second thing, when you calculate the A, then the answer will come out to be in minus or in negative. So by these two things we can understand that the acceleration is negative. The acceleration is negative. Okay, so let me rub this out and let me mention it here. What kind of acceleration is this? What is the acceleration? Negative acceleration. Negative acceleration. Now let's see Parajay, how he is riding his bike. Okay, Parajay is riding his bike at constant 30 meter per second velocity. So let's calculate the acceleration. A is equals to, take this interval only, 0 to 1 interval, 30 30. What is the final velocity? 30. What is the initial velocity? Again 30. What is the time interval? 2 minus 1, 0. It is 0. 30 minus 30 is 0. So 2 minus 1 is 1, doesn't matter, it will turn out to be 0. So two things to learn in zero acceleration. One thing, that when the velocity is constant, it is zero acceleration. Also, when we write it in the formula or substitute in the formula, it will turn out to be 0. So it is zero acceleration. It is zero acceleration. Now you must be wondering why I left this part. This part is to represent the graphs. Let me first draw the graph and then I will explain it to you. Now let's see the graph. Here I have already drawn a graph for you. Remember always, do not forget to write the scale. What is the scale here? X-axis 1 centimeter, means in your graph paper it will be 1 centimeter. Here consider it as 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter is equals to, x-axis is time. Okay, so 1 second. 1 second. Y-axis 1 centimeter is equals to, velocity is been taken in the y-axis, so 1 centimeter is 10 meter per second. Always remember, do not forget to write the scale. Whenever you draw a graph, if you forget to write the scale, 1 mark at least will be deducted. Okay, let's plot Ajay's graph first. So it started at 0, then at 1 second it became 10, then at second it will become 20. Okay, third second 30, fourth second 40. Okay, fourth second it will be 40. Let's plot Vijay's graph. Remember, it is at green color. 30. Okay, 20, 20 is here only. 10, fourth second is, no, this the third second is 10, and the fourth second is 0. All right, okay. Now Parajay, 30, again 30 at first second, again 30 at second, third second also 30, fourth second also 30. Okay, so we can clearly see how the line will be plotted. See, a straight line for Vijay. Also it will be a straight line for Vijay also. It will be a straight line for Parajay also. It will be a straight line. Next time I will explain it to you what will happen if the line is crooked. Okay, but it will be in the next video. So you can see another way of identifying a positive acceleration and negative acceleration and a zero acceleration. Okay, positive acceleration will always, this you see, it will be, first of all, if the velocity is increasing, we can see that the slope will be in this direction. Slope will be like this. The angle will be acute angle, you know, less than 90 degrees is acute angle. Okay, this is a rising slope, so it will be a positive acceleration. This is a declining slope, downhill we are going, so it will be the slope will be negative. Okay, here the angle you see is obtuse angle, means it is more than 90 degrees. Let me draw it also. More, of course, by seeing we can say it is more than 90 degrees. Here it was an acute angle less than 90 degrees, but this line you can imagine, here it is a bit of a crooked, but you can imagine it is a plain horizontal line, plain, no inclination on any side, just straight. So this is the graph of Parajay. Whenever you see a straight line and in horizontal, no inclination, then assume it to be zero acceleration. Okay, this is positive acceleration, this is negative acceleration, and this is zero acceleration. All right, so I hope you understand what is acceleration, how to write the formula of acceleration, what is positive, negative and zero acceleration, and its graph also. Now last small part is remaining on the unit of acceleration. Let me explain it to you quickly. Let's check out the units. Okay, so in the last lecture you have seen what is the velocity and its units also. So first of all, let me write the formula. Acceleration is equals to change in velocity. I am writing it in short. Velocity means well by time. Time taken. Okay, now see, change in velocity, while writing in units we will take it as velocity only, because it is velocity only, you know, just consider it as velocity only. Velocity by time. So what is the unit of velocity? It is meter per second. Okay, what is the unit of time? Second. So by this calculation, it is meter per second into 1 by second, which is meter per second square. You understood? Velocity by time becomes meter per second by second, so it becomes meter per second squared. So this is how the units of acceleration appear. So I hope this video is really helpful. Thank you.